I love that. All right. As I said off the top, mate, you're retired from rugby league. What I want to talk about your retirement because it happened, pretty suddenly. Probably a bit of a shock to yourself. Talk me through about the reason why you retired and I guess how it all happened.
Yeah, it was, and it wasn't a shock. I was dealing with the shoulder for a few years in the end, and when I finally decided to get the surgery, which I didn't really want to do, and
Is that reconstruction?
Yeah, so I had it's called a Latarjet procedure, so that it's bone block. So because they put foreign objects, so a couple of screws in there, and then after it, and I was back training, doing rehab with Ash at the club, and it was just not getting any better. And about 10 weeks in, I couldn't do anything. It was still sore every night. I was painkillers and anti-inflams every night because it was really sore after training that day, and I was getting nowhere with it. So then I'd load up on painkillers and anti-inflams that night, hoping it'd be better again the next day, sort of to cover the pain, but try and get it good for the next day. So it was a fair process, and it ended up being infected. So that's why I wasn't getting anywhere with it. Got it cleaned out, and came back and played, I think, 2 games at the back end of 2020, and then tore my calf. So I missed the last 4 weeks because of that. And going into 2021, I knew that there was a chance. I didn't know how the shoulder was going to go. I knew that there was a chance that because of the infection, it was a lot weaker and it may not hold up. So I went into the preseason and did it as best as I could. I've never looked after my body better than what I did in that time. So I was always pretty relaxed with my, prehab and that kind of thing. I'd rather sit around and have a chat with the boys before training than look after my body. But that year, I was there an hour before anyone else, there an hour after everyone else as well, trying to get it right. And I just wanted to give myself every chance for it to be okay. I didn't want to just get through the preseason and then it goes round 1. I wanted to know that I gave it a good crack, which I did. But unfortunately, it was round 2 against the Dragons, and just in a normal tackle, and I just felt a big crunch through it, and that was, I guess, it was the screws breaking and the shoulder sort of loosening again, and that was the end of it.
Do you think, did it come on like through, repeated sort of blows, or was it just like gradual sort of wear and tear of playing in the NRL?
Well, originally it was loose. So before I had it done, it came out, I reckon 10 times through the preseason, was just subluxing all the time. And then the first 2 games, I think we played Broncos round 1, and it would have happened 3 times in that game. Played Bulldogs round 2, about 4 or 5 times in that game. And that's when I thought, geez, I'm not going to get through the season. And then we went into the COVID break. So that gave me a chance to go, okay, well, maybe this is a good chance to get it done. We didn't know how long the comp would be stopped for. And the plan was to miss the first 4 games after COVID. I missed the first 10, I don't know, like plenty, because it was infected. So it just pushed everything back. So mentally it was a tough year. It was probably the toughest year of my career, to be honest. I was always pretty relaxed through my career. But that was the first time I'd sort of really struggled mentally with trying to get myself back. We weren't going well as a team, so we were losing, and even though I wasn't playing, I felt more pressure that year than I ever did before. It was difficult, and but got through it.
So you've had the injury for a couple of years, and then you got to a point where you're like, I just can't keep going on. I can't keep going on. Then you obviously make the decision to retire with medical advice and looking after yourself, and looking for your health down the track. How were you the moment you were like, you might have spoken to your wife and the doctor and said, look, it's time for me to hang it up? Were you a bit emotional, or was it like a weight off your shoulder to be like, look, I don't have to do this anymore?
It was. I remember when I told Toddy, because he said, go away for a couple of days, give it have a good think about it, and come and see me when you made your decision. And we were about to start training one day, and I obviously wasn't doing too much for training. I was just there hanging around the group, and when I told him, it was relief was the first thing. But then I went away that night, and it felt like I was just giving up as well, because for so long you get injured, and then it's okay, you're diagnosed with what the injury is. All right, what do I need to do to get back? And that's, you attack it. So there was a part of me that really felt like I was just giving up. And I went home that night. So I had a number of nights where I questioned it and whether I was doing the right thing. And then Bree, my wife, she said, well, how bad does it need to be before you to decide that is enough? She said, is it that you really can't use your shoulder well anymore? We had Penelope, who was 6 months at the time, and that made me think, okay, well, maybe that is enough. That sort of, clicked for me a bit that was I just going to go until it physically couldn't do anything else with it, or so that's calmed me with a decision, I think. But yeah, big sigh of relief, but also giving up.
Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine how tough it must have been, especially when you probably would have been playing footy, since you're 5, 6 years old, to just, have that thought process of being like, I cannot go any further. But you just mentioned, your daughter Penelope, and I heard you say the other day that the shoulder injury and having a little girl daughter in a similar time allowed you to spend some more time, with your daughter at home. Is that right?
Yeah, and it was a good distraction, I think, because often you hear people struggle with that transition after they finish, and I tried to put a more of a positive spin on it. It gave me a lot of time with her, so that's a very important time in a child's life too, and it was a lot of fun. So we have a very, very good relationship now, and I'm very lucky because normally not everyone gets to do what I did. The time that I got with her at that age, not many people get to do that. So I was very lucky for that, and even looking back at my career when I finished, it was all right. Well, I got to do plenty. I was grateful for what I got to do, and but yeah, that sort of, and it was Easter that year. The year I finished, and that was the first full Easter weekend I had at home since I was 17. So, and we happened to have a daughter then too. So that's when I thought, okay, life's pretty good. I'm in a good place, and I'm very lucky to have got to do what I did, but now finish and spend so much time with my family.